Our culture seems to foster the desire to judge ourselves, honing in on what is wrong with our body, where we have fallen short, how we are not measuring us up. Many of us have a harsh inner critic, and we say things to ourselves that we would never say to a friend or loved one. How do we learn to turn off this inner judge when it has been harping at us for many decades?
The inner critic, for some people have that very strongly. Other people experience it from time to time. Sometimes the mind is, you feel happy with yourself, and then the next day something else. But it manifests in different ways for different people. For some it's mainly the inner critic, criticizing myself. For others are very critical about other people. Others are very critical about situations they find themselves in. They're always complaining. You may remember from before you awakened spiritually that you always, a lot of the time there was this compulsive mind activity. A lot of that was actually complaining about things and people and where one is and why they should have, why didn't they should. Countless stories that come, and so people are trapped in this torture of their own minds, and the question is how to step out. Anything we say about how to go beyond that presupposes that there's already a minimum of awareness in you from where you can realize what your mind is doing. So that needs to be there, and that is there in all of you and much more, of course. There are still millions of people on the planet. They're also on their way. They don't have yet the minimum awareness. Tell a terrorist or any fundamentalist to be aware of their own thoughts or question them. They would get very angry. And so I don't recommend that. They are not ready for it. So, but you can recognize what your mind is doing to yourself, and you can then, if there is an awareness there, and then you can choose to direct your attention somewhere else. You don't have to follow every thought. You don't have to believe everything you think. Somebody even made that into a bumper sticker. I loved it. You don't have to believe everything you think. And that is an enormous, you can disidentify from your mind and see what the mind is doing. And you can then also, by choice, place your attention on a flower or the sky or anything natural, and you stepped out of. I also recommend for people who are very much burdened by the mind, place your attention into the inner energy field of your body. Feel the aliveness that pervades the entire body. And then you can't think that much anymore. You can't feel both the aliveness within your body and think a lot. So that takes your attention into, wake up in this, I don't know if anybody still experiences that here, you wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and you're thinking, and it's not pleasant. It's about my problems. And if you then suddenly you discover the futility of it, and then you also have at that moment you have a choice. And then you can say, I choose to place my attention on the inner energy field of the body. And from one moment, from 1 minute to the next, you enjoy being awake at night and feel the intense aliveness in every cell of the body. That's one simple way. It's a kind of meditation practice. It's one simple way of taking attention away from thinking when you realize it is not only futile, it's also destructive.